Hi everybody. Now Crumble has been asking for a while, why aren't we doing more dog tutorials? And to be honest, some of you have been asking as well. So buddy, Crumble, today we're going to do a brand new feature. We're going to do a two-parter where we're going to first learn how to draw any kind of dog, any breed, that's right, including yours. And then tomorrow, make sure you're watching because we're going to do how to paint every breed. So today we're going to be drawing, so grab your pencils and let's get started. Right, so we're going to draw today and then tomorrow we're going to paint because there's just loads to take in really. When you're painting dogs of different types, the best news is that they all start off in the same manner, that you're just sort of drawing geometric shapes. So I thought let's include some of the dogs in my life. So we're going to begin with a collie that belongs to a friend of ours, and basically all you need to do, if we break it down as simply as it could be, is we start off with a rectangle, and then for the front, the sort of torso, we're going to create a circle at the front, and then a slightly smaller, well, I say a circle, it's more like a potato. And then from that you can start to get the body of the dog a bit more pronounced, and then you can start to bring in the legs. So we're going to have a leg sort of coming forward a little bit, and then so you see I've sort of placed in that there, and a circle for the bottom, and then another leg coming in behind, always sort of coming off this main joint, another circle for the joints, and then for the front leg we're coming down, so again always sort of coming off front. And then for the head we can just add in another circle coming up, which we can sort of round up to, and then we can start to create that head, and then just flatten it out a little bit. You can have an ear and an ear like that. And then a collie is a lovely shaggy dog, so we can start to add in some lovely tufty hair, and of course a tufty tail. And then the legs, you can start to just give them a bit more definition and turn those little blobs into paws by just sort of angling them off and giving them a few separate sections there. Then for the face itself, we've got we can plop a nose on the end there, and from there we can just start to establish the top lip, which will then bring in the boxy chin underneath. And then for the eyes, I find there's that sort of flat of the face before it goes up, placing in the eye there, and we might just get a little bit and there we've got a lovely kind of collie walking along there. Okay, next one, let's do my beloved Crumble. How about that? Because he has been crying out for a drawing. So instead of a complete rectangle this time, I'm going to have him sitting down. I'm going to start with more of an oval shape. And then for that sort of bottom leg, sort of curl up out of the bottom of the oval. And then we've got his feet coming out there. And then from the top of that oval we can place in that front circular shape to give us some proud legs sitting forward. We've got the ball of the leg there. Wonderful. And then sort of coming right up from the back of that circle, and from there we can place in a circle and again a sort of ovally shape to start to establish the head. And I always find that once you've sort of got in your ears, you can really start to sort of define that face a little bit. So we'll give him a nose. And we can sort of move slightly away from the roundness of that circle into a bit more of a boxy head. And again we can give Crumble his eyes. And of course a tail. Now he is a shaggy dog. He's got a lovely beard. He's got a very tufty coat. So I find just by sort of tufting out on the shapes we've already drawn, there we have a lovely Crumble. We'll always put in another leg there and another leg there. Okay, so some of you have met Lola, the little Lakeland Terrier. So let's try her now, standing up. So again, we'll start with a rectangle. She's a small dog, so we'll just make her nice and small here. Starting with a rectangle and placing at the front of that rectangle that oval shape and a smaller one at the back that we can then just get that angle down and a little bit of a angle up. And she, smaller dog, we're going to sort of have a circle for the head and a circle for the muzzle. I keep saying circles, but you see that they're not strictly circles. I hope you'll forgive me. Right, for the leg, she's a sort of little squat terrier, much more sort of compact than these other dogs. So her leg comes down in a much sort of thicker way. And we can just place a little circle down there and imagine the back leg just coming up there. She's a dog who's quite often on her toes, on her tiptoes, I find. So when we paint her in tomorrow, I might sort of consider that. Now, for the head, we'll get in some floppy over ears. And the nose is always a very helpful thing to start sort of defining the shape, because she has a very sort of curly moustache. A Lakeland Terrier, if you look them up, they're very curly and quite sort of expressionless because they've got so many curls covering over their faces. And she always has a very sort of straight, strong tail. So she always looks a bit like she's wearing pyjamas, Lola, in the way that her body is so sort of boxy. But that's looking rather nice for Lola. Now we're going to do a husky, my beloved Carla, who was our dog a few years back. So we're going to do her sort of lying down, which is a bit more of a challenge. So if I do a sort of another sort of kind of potato shape and place in one just coming out the back there and one on the back there, we're going to suddenly have a body of the dog sort of facing forward, and this is going to be the torso, but she's sort of lying down. She was on a sofa for this photo I've got here. So from that shape I'm going to get her forelegs. So you've got the joints there. So this is useful for sort of teaching you how to draw a dog from any angle, really. And then from this shape we're going to draw in a slightly sort of narrower shape with a muzzle, and from this we're going to first sort of place in some ears that are right on the top of the head. So if you were drawing an Alsatian, German Shepherd, even a wolf, this will be helpful. And then coming down from the side there, we're going to just tuft out a little bit. And then she had these wonderful extra kind of shaggy additional sort of manes, I suppose. And then this is quite an interesting one. So if we come down the face, what I find is the sort of the line from the ears gives us quite a good sense of where we're going to place everything else. So if I put in the nose there, and from that nose we're going to come down like that, and then we'll have a tongue hanging out, but the line of the sort of smile is that following up towards the ears. And then the eyes are actually quite close together. And those little sort of sympathetic sort of eyebrow droops there are quite a nice way of giving her a little bit of a kind character. And then a lovely tail coming out the back. It didn't waggle that much. She was quite aloof as a dog, but we loved her very much. Okay, so we've got a nice dog lying down there. And then last off, let's try something very different. Let's try a boxer dog. So, because a boxer dog is that slightly more sort of smooth head, wrinkly skin, squashed up face, which is very different in terms of these dogs with all of their longer muzzles. But let's have a go. So we've got a nice round face. So we'll have the circle for the face, and then we're going to put in another circle for the torso, a little bit like this one here. And then we're going to place in more of a sort of lozenge shape for the rest of the body, and finish off with a little sort of loop on the end, which is going to be a leg. So let's get our legs in first, shall we? So from this torso circle we can bring in some legs. Then the tummy is going to sort of slouch down into the ground, and we'll finish off with a back leg a bit like this one, a bit like that one, which sort of squishes out at a rather funny angle. We might see another one just there.
For the face itself, if we do a little cross across the middle, that gives us actually the eye level, because it's often quite a low eye, but it also gives us the beginning of the muzzle, so we can pop in a little nose, and then from that you can just droop the mouth down over the side of the circle there and bring it up a little bit and sort of join that, and then there he is. And then from there, a lot of it then is about sort of creating the folds in the skin on the face. If we put in some ears, then you can really start to get in there and oh, he looks sad. Oh, but he's not sad. It's just how his face falls. And then give him, he has slightly more sort of pronounced claw-like feet. So think about that bend with the sort of knuckle. And there you go. So here we have 5 very different dog breeds, but essentially they all begin with the same marking out of the geometric shapes, or not even very geometric, they're all potatoes really, aren't they? But if you start any dog from any angle, so I'd like to think we've done quite a few different angles here, getting that body and the joints for the shoulder and the legs, then getting up with more rounded shapes to create the head and the muzzle, then adding in your extra bits and the tails and the ears and the mouths, suddenly you've got dogs in front of you. And that is what we are going to be painting tomorrow. But what I'm going to do before we start painting them tomorrow is I'm going to give them a little bit of a knockback with the pencil by rolling my putty rubber, my kneadable eraser, over the top of them. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. It's very easy and it's free. You just have to click the little subscribe button either next to the channel name or just underneath the video here, and the little notification bell means that you'll never miss another video, because you don't want to miss the Friday quick fix tomorrow, where we are going to be adding some paint and bringing these pups to life. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye!